Welcome to Premath. In this video tutorial, we are going to find the partial fraction decomposition of this given rational expression, and this is our episode 24. And as you can see, the degree in the numerator is greater than the degree in the denominator. We call this an improper fraction. I will show you how to do this problem in two different ways. One with a long division and the other without long division. So let's go ahead and get started with the very first method with long division. And here is our rational expression. And here is the long division that we are going to perform. As you can see that this x squared minus 3x plus 2 is our divisor, and the divisor is going to be outside right up here, and this top on the numerator x power 3 minus 7x squared plus 15x minus 7 is inside this shelter. It is called dividend. And I'm sure that you are familiar with the long division and how to perform it. Anyway, I am going to go slow to show you how we're going to do it. First of all, look at this x power 3 inside. I'm going to write down x power 3 right up here divided by this leading term over here is x power 2. And when we divide this thing, we are going to get x right up here. So this x is going to go on the top over here. And now we are going to go ahead and multiply this x across the board, and that is going to give us x power 3 minus 3x squared plus 2x. And now in the next step, we are going to change the sign. This is positive x power 3 becomes negative, and this negative becomes positive, and this positive becomes negative. And now we can see that this x power 3 and negative x power 3, this is gone. So we are simply left with negative 4x squared plus 13x, and I am going to bring this negative 7 down over here. And now once again, let's focus on this leading term right up here, which is negative 4x squared divided by the leading term over here is x power 2. And when we simplify it, we're going to get negative 4. This negative 4 is going to go on the top over here. Now we are going to multiply this negative 4 across the board as we did in the previous step. So that's going to give us negative 4x squared plus 12x minus 8. All right. And once again, we are going to change the sign. Positive become negative, negative become positive. So this negative becomes positive, this positive become negative, and this negative becomes positive. And now as you can see, these two are gone, and simply we ended up with x plus 1. And here is now our quotient on the top, remainder at the bottom, and this is our divisor on the left. So we can translate into this way right now. The quotient is going to be right here, then plus remainder divided by the divisor. So thus we have completed our long division process, and as you can see that this rational expression has been written in this form. As you can see, these are both same things. And now in the next step, we are going to do the partial fraction decomposition of this rational expression only. And now in our next step, we are going to find the partial fraction decomposition of this rational expression. So before we do the partial fraction decomposition, let's focus on the denominator over here, this quadratic, and we can see that this can easily be factored out. And let's go ahead and do that one. So this could be written as, we can write as, the denominator is going to be x minus 1 times x minus 2, and on the top x plus 1 is going to stay same. And now as we can see in the denominator, we got two linear factors. That means we are going to have two fractions separated by plus sign. The first one is going to be x minus 1, the other one is going to be x minus 2, and on the top, on the numerator, we're going to have a constant a for the first and constant b for the second fraction. And our task is to find the values of constant a and constant b. Now let's focus at the denominator, this part, x minus 1 times x minus 2. We are going to multiply this, whatever this stuff is, across the board. I'm going to multiply x minus 1 times x minus 2, likewise x minus 1 times x minus 2, and x minus 1 times x minus 2 with each and every fraction. And as we can see that these linear factors, they cross out with each of everyone, so we ended up with, on the left hand side, x plus 1 only. And on the right hand side, as we can see that this x minus 1 is gone with this x minus 1, so we ended up with a times x minus 2, and then as you can see this x minus 2 is gone with this x minus 2, so we got plus b times x minus 1, and I'm going to call this as an equation number 1. And here is our quick trick. Look for linear factor in the denominator, and as we can see, we got two linear factors in the denominator right up here, x minus 1 and x minus 2. I am going to copy them down right up here. X minus 1, the other one is x minus 2. I'm going to set both of them equal to 0, so that means we got x equal to 1 value, and the other one is x equal to 2. And now let's focus on the first value, x equal to 1, and here I wrote down, put x equal to 1 in this equation 1. That means wherever we see x, I am going to replace it by 1. On the left hand side becomes 1 plus 1 equal to a times 1 minus 2, and then over here, as we can see, when I replace this x by 1 and 1 minus 1 is 0, means that this whole term is going to become 0. So therefore I'm going to put down 0 over here. Let's simplify. 2 equals to a times negative 1. That gives us a equal to negative 2 value. And now we are going to focus on x equal to 2 value, and here I wrote down, put x equal to 2 in equation 1. So let's go ahead and do that one over here. So this is going, left hand side is going to become 2 plus 1 equal to, and over here when I replace this x by 2 minus 2 is going to give us 0. So 0 means that whole term is going to become 0. So I'm going to write down 0 plus b times 2 minus 1. So if we simplify, 3 equal to b. All right. So our b value turns out to be 3. So thus our a value turns out to be -2 and b is 3. So therefore in our partial fraction decomposition, wherever we see a, I am going to replace it by -2 and b by 3. And here is a partial fraction decomposition after we replaced the values of a and b. And here is our complete partial fraction decomposition. As you can see that this x minus 4 part is right up here, and the partial fraction decomposition of this rational expression turns out to be over here. And this is our final answer. And here is the alternative method without long division, and we are going to perform the partial fraction decomposition of this rational expression. So before we get started, let's focus on this denominator, and we can see that this quadratic can easily be factored out. So this rational expression can be written as the denominator is going to become x minus 1 times x minus 2, and the numerator is going to stay same. All right, plus 15x minus 7. Now as we can see, we have two linear factors in the denominator, so I'm going to put down two fractions separated by plus sign. The first one is going to be x minus 1, and the other one is going to be x minus 2, and then on the top is going to be constant a and constant b on the second fraction. And since we are dealing with the improper fraction, that means we are going to add a couple of more things. The other one is going to be c times x plus d. All right, just keep in your mind. And now in our next step, we are going to look at this x, the denominator x minus 1 times x minus 2. I am going to multiply across the board this stuff, x minus 1 times x minus 2, and over here x minus 1 times x minus 2 across the board, and here x minus 1 times x minus 2, and here I am going to multiply this one with x minus 1 times x minus 2. And here we can see that x minus 1 is gone with this x minus 1, and x minus 2 cancels out with this x minus 2. So we are ended up with only x power 3 minus 7x squared plus 15x minus 7 equals to, on the right hand side, this x minus 1 is gone with this x minus 1. So we got a times x minus 2. Likewise, next one is going to be x minus 2 is gone with this x minus 2. So we got plus b times x minus 1. And finally, this part over here, I am going to write down cx plus d times this whole thing, x minus 1 times x minus 2, and I am going to call this one as an equation number 1. And now our task is to find the values of a, b, c, and d. Now here is the quick trick. Look for linear factors in the denominator, and as we can see, we got two linear factors, x minus 1 and x minus 2. I am going to copy them down right up here, x minus 1, and the other one is x minus 2, and I am going to set both of them equal to 0. So that means One of the value is going to be x equal to 1. The other is going to be x equal to 2. Now let's focus on x equal to 1 value. Therefore, I wrote down put x equal to 1 in this equation 1. So that means wherever we see x, we are going to replace it by 1. So this left hand side is going to become 1 power 3 minus 7 1 square plus 15 times 1 minus 7 equal to a times 1 minus 2. And here, as you can see here, this, if I replace x by 1, 1 minus 1 is going to become 0. 0 times this whole thing is going to become 0. Likewise, when I replace this x by 1 and this minus 1 is going to make it 0. So 0 times this whole thing is going to become 0 as well. So I can write therefore 0 plus 0. And on the left hand side, if we simplify, that's going to give us 1 minus 7 plus 15 minus 7 equal to a times negative 1. And if I simplify the left hand side, that is going to give us 2 equals to negative a. That means a is going to be negative 2. And now let's focus on the other value of x, which is 2. And here I wrote down put x equal to 2 in above equation 1. So wherever we see x, we are going to replace it by 2. Let's do that one. So the left hand side is going to become 2 power 3 minus 7 2 square plus 15 times 2 minus 7 equals to, and here when I replace this x by 2, 2 minus 2 is going to give us 0. 0 times this whole thing is going to become 0. So I'm going to put down 0 over here, and then plus b times x being replaced by 2 minus 1, and then plus likewise over here, as you can see, if I replace this x by 2 minus 2 is going to give us 0. 0 times this whole term is going to become 0 as well. So I'm going to put down plus 0 over here. On the left hand side, let's simplify. That is 2 power 3 is 8 minus 7 times this becomes 4 is 28. This is plus 30 minus 7 equal to here, that is going to become b times 1. And if I simplify the left hand side, that is going to give us 3 equals to b. So b value turns out to be 3. So we've figured out a and b values, and we still need to find out c and d value. For that reason, we are going to work more on this equation 1 and do some extra steps. Let's look at this equation 1. Let me just write down the left hand side right up here of the equation 1. X power 3 minus 7x square plus 15x minus 7. And here on the right hand side, I am going to distribute this. A times this is going to become ax minus 2a, likewise plus bx minus b minus b. And we know that this part is simply x power 2 minus 3x plus 2 from here, as you can see over here. And so now we are going to use a FOIL method. So I am going to multiply this one with each and every one over here. So that is going to give us plus cx power 3 minus 3cx squared plus 2cx, and likewise we are going to do for d part same thing. We are going to distribute across the board, so that is going to give us plus dx squared minus 3dx plus 2d. And now on the left hand side I can leave it as 1x power 3 minus 7x squared plus 15x minus 7 equal to, let's combine the like terms and start with the highest degree. Okay, we are going to go in a descending order. So first is going to be cx power 3, then for x squared is going to be plus in parentheses negative 3c plus d times x squared, and then plus, there are a bunch of x's, so that's going to be a plus b plus 2c and minus 3d times x, and finally plus minus 2a minus b plus 2d. And as you can see on the left hand side, the coefficient of x power 3 is going to, by default, is going to be 1. And in this next step we are going to equate, or sometimes we call it compare, the coefficients on both sides of this equation above. So let's compare the coefficients for x power 3 first. As we can see on the left hand side, the coefficient of x power 3 is 1. On the right hand side it is c. Let's equate that one. So that is going to give us 1 equal to c. And now let's focus on x squared part. On the left hand side, the coefficient of x squared is negative 7, and the right hand side, the coefficient of x squared is negative 3c plus d. Let's equate these one as well. So we got negative 7 equal to negative 3c plus d. So thus we can see that c value turns out to be 1. And here we can easily find the value of d by just plugging in c equal to 1. So negative 7 equal to negative 3 times 1 plus d. So that is going to give us negative 7 equal to negative 3 plus d. That means d value turns out to be negative 4. So thus our a value turns out to be negative 2, b 3, c 1, and d negative 4. So thus in our partial fraction decomposition, wherever I see a, I am going to replace it by negative 2, b by 3, c by 1, and d by negative 4. And here is the partial fraction decomposition once these constant values have been placed in. And here is our final answer. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more exciting videos. Bye.